Hello and welcome to another episode of the Weekly Waypoint, where it is entirely too hot. You get about one of these a year. This one is this year's, and to give you an idea of just how ill-equipped we Brits are to deal with the heat, my PC is telling me that it is currently 24 degrees centigrade, although if my phone is to be believed it is actually 28. So that's a little bit better. I think I'm going to go with what my phone says, because it feels like 28. And of course, if I had people watching from other countries, they would immediately feel the need to jump into the comments section and go, "Ah, that's nothing. Where I live, we eat 28 degrees for breakfast." Because honestly, if you see anyone post a tweet about some outstanding weather that they're having, all of the replies are just people from other countries going, "Yeah, that's nothing." It doesn't matter, it's something for them. Anyway, you're currently watching Halo 2 Anniversary, a match of Oddball that I played with Reese a few days ago. Something different about this video though. The first half is that match, the second half is also that match, but from Reese's perspective, because I find theatre mode fascinating for that kind of thing. I would have rather had one of those matches of Big Team Battle that we played, where we were trying to get splatter kills, not splatter kills, we were trying to get roadman medals, which is when you're driving around but someone on the turret is getting all the kills for you, and that was really fun when we did that, but for some reason those matches didn't save in theatre mode even though they were played in a game which supported it, which was sad. But Oddball is good enough, although I'm not sure if Reese is going to like the match I picked, because I seem to remember after this one he told me he doesn't want to play Halo 2 for a while. But yeah, we've been playing Halo, it's been fun. He streamed some Halo, oh my god, was that this week or was that last week? I no longer remember. Time is an illusion. But if I mentioned it in last week's Weekly Waypoint, I'm sorry. But if I didn't, then hey, he streamed Halo last week and I was in on his stream. It was fun. Pretty sure I mentioned this last week. Oh no. My brain is melting out of my ears and onto the floor in a weird, brainy puddle. So if you've been following the Weekly Waypoint for the last month, or just me in general, you'll know that my fixations have been changing a lot more rapidly than they normally do. That was a beautiful grenade, by the way. Normally I get fixated on a game and I play it relentlessly for at least a month or more, and I'm talking about it a lot during that time, and then I move on to something else. But lately it's been something different every week. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think I've just found the game which I'm going to be talking about for the next month or two at the very least, because I've given Blizzard more money and I've started playing World of Warcraft, the Burning Crusade Classic. Now, I had my reservations about doing this because I have played some World of Warcraft Classic before, back when it was just the vanilla game, and I enjoyed it to a point. I loved seeing what the game was like, but I also, from a gameplay perspective, didn't necessarily love how many quests required you to group up with people to complete your leveling, to continue your progression through vital points in the game. That was a cross between points and parts. This is why I record my commentary in like 5 to 10 second increments. The longer I go, the more likely I am to stumble. But anyway, due to that and a few other issues, I kind of stopped playing Classic, and while I loved that it was there and I planned to go back to it at some point, I never really felt motivated to do so, especially when I went back to modern World of Warcraft. When they announced, inevitably, Burning Crusade Classic, I was mildly interested, because the first time I ever played World of Warcraft was Fury of the Sunwell patch. It was the end of Burning Crusade, and I got to about level 18 on my druid, and I played for a couple of months, I think it was, but back then it felt like longer, and then I played classic servers on and off for the next year or two, and I experienced a little bit of Wrath of Lich King that way, but mostly my experience was playing an instant level 70 server and flying around in flight form and exploring Outland. I never really played the game properly, that's just kind of how I enjoyed it. I loved exploring the Burning Crusade zones, and I'm always going to have fond memories of Outland for that, as well as the Draenei and the Blood Elves in their starter zones too. So yeah, Burning Crusade really is a genesis of WoW for me personally, but even then I was like, well, the leveling isn't any different, it's just going to be the same as WoW Classic, so if I am going to get back to it, I'm just going to go back to the WoW Classic vanilla servers and then move my character over when he reaches level 60. That was my plan. And don't worry, I didn't do anything stupid. Like, well, it's not stupid. If you want to do it, then go ahead and do it. I'm not going to look down on you for it. But I didn't buy the Dark Portal Pass or anything like that. I didn't give Blizzard any more money than was necessary to play the game. It's not stupid if you want to buy a character boost and just get in and play with your friends or save some time. I just don't like that Blizzard businessified it that way. Carbot Animations has an absolutely brilliant video called This is World of Warcraft, and it encapsulates the feeling of seeing them announce the Dark Portal past perfectly, and I recommend everyone go and see it when they finished watching this video. Or right now, you could pause it and go and watch it right now. I can't stop you. I'm not an omnipresent god, as much as I might wish that I were. Megalomaniacal aspirations aside though, I was talking about TBC Classic, and the fact that I decided to play it, wasn't I? And the thing that actually finally got me to play it, because I was tempted when it launched, but for the aforementioned reasons I didn't bite. Also, I was playing Final Fantasy XIV at the time. The reason I finally did it is because I saw a video. I was like, what? I don't remember what piqued my interest, but I was like, what are the differences, if any? Because I knew there were a couple of differences to leveling. I just thought it might be slightly speedier, and I looked it up, and it was just a guy going, yeah, so slightly faster to level from 20 to 60 in Burning Crusade, and also they made the quests way more soloable. So a bunch of the quests that would require a group to go around and take... Oh my god. Quests which would require a group to take down an elite no longer require a group to do so, and it's no longer an elite. Basically, you can level completely solo from 1 to 60, to 70 even. And I was like, huh. Well, fuck. That's exactly what I needed. I didn't know this was a change. I didn't know when I was playing leveling through the original World of Warcraft Classic that I wasn't playing the same leveling experience that I was the first time I played through Burning Crusade. I thought what I was playing was that experience, but it wasn't. It was significantly tougher, and I had no idea. So instead of moving over my level 25 human mage from that classic server to a Burning Crusade version of that server, instead I decided to start fresh. Just because, like, I don't know, man, I don't want to be the guy who keeps restarting characters over and never hitting max level, but at the same time I've got some stuff attached to that character that I'd rather leave behind, at least for now. And I decided also I wanted to make a character on an RP server, because it's nice to walk around and see people doing RP, but I might also want to do a little bit of RP myself sometime. And also, whenever you reboot an MMO from its older years, you're gonna, for whatever reason, you tend to draw in a certain audience which is a lot more toxic, potentially because they're going, yeah, this is a game as I remembered it when it was hard and you had to work for your bags, damn it, and people who don't like hard games should go and play Mario or something. I feel like it attracts that kind of crowd, and I feel like if you want to do role-playing, you might not necessarily be the kind of person. That's a completely arbitrary assumption, but it's something I'm going with anyway. I'm sure I'll still run into toxic people, but I feel like there might be slightly less of them on an RP server. So instead I considered, hey, maybe I will remake my first character that I played during the Burning Crusade and kind of recreate my steps of how I played during those first couple of months when I was playing on the legitimate Blizzard servers. And I considered it because I made a Night Elf Druid, and my main in the live game, I keep saying live game, my main in Shadowlands has been a Night Elf Druid since I fully properly started playing back in Mists. I've never changed my main, and I'm very attached to that character. So I considered it, because I thought maybe I'll keep with it on this character and take that character through all the expansions and see how Druid evolved over the years, assuming they're going to keep going, which is a bold assumption. I really hope they do though. But just before I hit create character, I thought about it some more, and I decided to do some research on character classes in the Burning Crusade, because I only ever got to level 18. And as I was looking into stuff about Druid and the fact that Boomkin is a little bit more viable when it comes to gameplay in Burning Crusade versus the original vanilla game, I remembered that there is no astral form glyph, and I would be running around as a giant laser chicken, and some people like that, but I certainly do not. I want to have a character who I can equip things to and see their appearance change as I level up. It's a small thing, but it's an important thing. It's one of the reasons I finally got so excited when they finally nerfed heirlooms in the Shadowlands patch, because they redid all of the leveling and they're not really necessary anymore. Finally, I can equip things again as I level up and have that sense of progression and evolution. So I decided not to go with a laser chicken, and instead I made a hunter, because hunters, of course, people make fun of them for being the easiest class. They're very soloable, but also because they have lots of interesting quirks of their own when it comes to how the gameplay worked back in the day. Plus I could still roll a Night Elf and run through Teldrassil and Darkshore again and retrace my steps, even if it is as a different class. So far, Faradinel is level 14 and is leveling through Darkshore, and I decided around level 7 to install a Questy app, because there are people out there who will tell you that if you're installing that add-on, then you are ruining the true classic experience of having to read the quest text and figure out where to go and all that kind of thing. But nuts to that, because I think most people back in the day used an add-on much like Questy when the game was new, and it just makes the game more pleasant to exist in. And let's be honest, we tend to like our remakes with a few quality of life features added. I'm sure hoping that, I mean, it's a slightly more controversial take, so it's not the best example, but I'm hoping, for instance, in Pokemon Shining Platinum and Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl even, that XP share is a thing, and I'm sure it will be. But also it should be toggleable for the people who don't want it, and that's never going to happen because Nintendo hate player agency, but that's a different discussion. Some fun things I have learned about Hunter in the Burning Crusade is that, hey, that pet you tame, I knew you didn't get it till level 10, first of all, don't worry about that. I knew that. Like, back in the day, you had to get your real class identifying stuff, like a pet for hunters or your first shapeshift form for druids. That would be level 10, and it was something to look forward to. I remember being really excited when I got bear form the first time. No, something I learned about pets in Burning Crusade is they can leave you. They can just run away if you don't feed them. And whenever I looked this up online, people were like, wow, I can't believe that happened to you. That's never happened to me, because I'm not a masochist and I feed my pet, you heathen. But here's the thing, right? I tamed a cat and then I ran to Darnassus, and because I didn't know this thing was a thing, I didn't feed my cat from its unhappy state for like half an hour while I was sitting around in Darnassus, and so cat promptly pissed off and I had to go tame another cat. Which was a surprise to me. And, you know, I'm trying not to take it too seriously. Like, I can see kind of the benefits of a system like this. It's more simmy in a weird kind of a way. It lends more weight to your bond with your fake virtual animal, in the fact that you have to make sure you're feeding it and stuff, and it's got a little happy face next to it, and it deals more damage if you feed it, and you've got to make sure you get out of your way to stock up on food so that your pet doesn't leave you. But at the same time, on the downside of things, it's weirdly stressful, right? Like, it's not like the pet's going to turn around and go from happy to super unhappy and leaving you in the space of like half an hour. That's just because it was unhappy when I first tamed it. But still, the idea that I could forget to pay attention to my pet, and then all of the, because by the way you have to level up your pet in this version of the game, all of the levels I put into my pet, and like from a sentimental point of view, the time I spent with that pet, all of it just goes away because I didn't pay attention to a little icon. So I'm probably going to go add-on shopping again and see if there's anything that can help me pay attention to that slightly better. But as it is, it's not so difficult to keep track of and on top of. And to be honest, I think, listen, when I play Skyrim, right, I love the idea that companions can die, like the companion you take with you can die. Because it's super rare. It only happens if you accidentally hit them yourself, because they can only die by your hand. Yes, that's right. If you didn't know that, you murdered Lydia. That was you all of those years ago. Feel bad. But I've always liked that system, because instead of being like, oh, I have to reload a save, right, I just stick with it. I'm like, well, Lydia died canonically in this game file. She died in this cave, and I'm going to go and have to find someone else to help me fight, because Lord knows there's plenty of them. And like, it's sad. It's a sad moment, but it's a thing that can happen, and I like that about Skyrim. I should apply that to hunter pets in TBC. Obviously, I'm going to try and keep Night Sunder next to me for my entire run, right? But if, for whatever reason, I make a mistake and my pet ends up leaving me because, I don't know, I'm low on food and I end up dying multiple times to a quest boss and I don't have time to find food before my pet's unhappy state gets too far unhappy and it leaves me, then it'll be really sad. But also it'll give me the opportunity to switch things up a bit and get a new pet and train a new pet. And, you know, all I'm saying is, while there's downsides, it's not necessarily the worst, it's just different. It's also better in some ways too, because of this cool little personal headcanon you can have about your pet. But also, please, Night Sunder, I love you, never leave me. I'm still heartbroken over the fact that my Nintendogs have probably left me after years of neglect. I don't need this in my World of Warcraft game too, god damn it, Blizzard. But anyway, sorry this has been a very World of Warcraft Classic-centric episode. I'm just happy to be back in the game again. There will be videos coming out, and instead of it being Adventures in Azeroth, it will be Adventures in Classic Azeroth. Because you may remember I splintered my Adventures in Azeroth videos off to Adventures in Shadowlands, and it wouldn't make much sense to continue making videos under that umbrella with that name. So yeah, Adventures in Classic Azeroth coming soon to a YouTube subscription box near you. Either way, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope wherever you are and whatever you're doing, you're not melting. By the time this video publishes, hopefully I'm not melting. Hopefully the temperatures come down a bit, because I'm recording this on Monday. And I think the temperature is supposed to start dropping again soon. But hey, there's that. I will see you in the next video because, hey, I started my outro slightly too early and now we're here and it's very awkward.